that's where everything first starts. And then obviously from that unity in time, we begin to move, and that movement creates space. And that space, a lot of people aren't happy with that space because it creates the illusion of separation from the unity. But we are still, do you know what I mean? So that illusion
Yeah.
of separation is what then begins to create, the space time as the 3D reality. And then obviously from the 3D reality, when you actually realize, actually, you know what, I'm actually moving in time, and you actually time, then you then begin to see what's happening in time. And then also as you see what's happening in time, you begin to create in time, you begin to experience in time, you begin to know in time, all I mean, all of those things, rather than just be space in time. And it's been a revelation for me, like to understand the different dimensions that they explained from someone's perspective. I think the greatest book that I've read that did it for me was Maps of Meaning by Jordan B. Peterson. I think he's one of the kings in this. He's really taken it to a whole new level, especially about creating the self and actually acknowledging the self for what it is. Because if the self is time, the self can only be understood in time, presently, because of this time, rather than the time that's just gone past, because that's no longer the self. You know what I mean? In terms of how you understand the self. So, I think I heard you talking about, being sick and all of those things. We all go through it, but it is sometimes I think it was either what's his name? Um, Bruce Lipton or Joe Dispenza were talking about it, like a disease, like a disease of the mind, like a disease of the body, where it's not at ease, like things aren't flowing, like the tides aren't going as they should. So there's something that's blocking it. That's causing that illusion of separation. So the only thing that you have to do is find that unity again with the self. But then what I got from Jordan B. Peterson's book, Maps of Meaning, was, like how we create maps of meaning is in the heart. Like, because I heard you talking about the heart, and everyone is always talking about love, and how does that happen? And I realized, it was such a magnificent experience. I realized it was in, like, when you look in Genesis, right? See, this is like I'm talking about my first book now. In Genesis, what I realized is, in the beginning there was really nothing at all, and then God said, and then from that point, from that point, right, do you begin to understand everything else. That's the Old Testament. In the New Testament, the same verse is repeated also about the beginning, but by John. But in the beginning, it is the Word, because God said. Does it make sense? So that ability to speak, to say things, to formulate speech is what begins to produce meaning of things, right? What is this? I'm telling you, my name is Dylan, or my name is Taff. I'm speaking, and I'm helping you gain meaning of something that wasn't before, now becoming something that is. So when I begin to understood that, I was like, oh, that is very interesting. And then every time when you're about to say anything, about to do anything, everyone always says speak from the heart. So if you're speaking from the heart, and that means that's where everything gonna speak from or do. If you're doing it from the heart, that means in the beginning of it all, it starts in the heart. But in the heart, it only can become with the word. They're like, oh, okay. So that means the heart is then connected to the voice, which is the voice we then connects to everything that is. So if the voice is everything that is, that means unity of everything that is in the voice, and the voice is found in the heart. So that's interesting. That is very interesting. Like, okay, so we'll go with that. So when you come with the heart now, what you've got is you've got the formulation of your bones, you got your cells, you got your veins, which transport blood to every aspect of your body for you to have motor movement to actually move. Like you're saying, when you act. So remember, you've got the thought, which is the voice, which is the thought, which is in the heart. So now you're trying to act, trying to make that movement. So you got the blood you need. It goes everywhere you want it to. You start to get ideas. Act of doing, they say, it's in the brain, because your brain controls the motor system and the nervous system. So when you get into the nervous system, now you know it, because you know the brain. You gain technical with it. It's no longer nothing, because once you get once you start in the heart, it doesn't matter, because now you're creating maps of meaning, as with every blood flow and every heartbeat, and everything that you're doing is creating that meaning from the beginning as it was. You're making it so through the things that you say, and to the things that you go through. So that's what, riding the wave is all about. The wave being the flow of blood, as things are, as things go. And obviously flying high out of hell, hell being that idea and the illusion of separation, in the understanding that hell is separate from heaven, when in reality, Lucifer, who is in understanding the commander of hell, is just there because of God who created it all.
Yeah, completely. God being that consciousness that is aware of that state of mind, which is called hell, right?
Exactly.
And what would be the meaning that you would give to the word time?
Time is more like everything, in my understanding. Like time, in the way that, like, time is the beginning of experience, right? Because remember, the thought and the experience is found in action. Does that make sense? I think that's your question. The experience is found in action. So when you begin to move and creating space, you give yourself the ability to be observant, to observe, right? So when you begin to observe, it means you can begin to see, and then you have a measurement, and that ability to measure, it means you can begin to have the ability to evolve, transcend, and go above. So, but then you can only do that when, if your time, that means you're at the beginning point and you're everything. And obviously now you measure yourself as in like age, where you've come from, where you're going, where you want to be in the future. So it's like a way in which you can sum up your entire being, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is also with what you've just said, also been inspired to remember that time is money, and they also measure your worth as a being through your wealth, which is money, which is your time, which is all of that. So time will be like your essence.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. I just feel like for me, time is now, right?
Yeah,
like time is also related to, or we relate it like to actually God in life, because it's that determination of what's mine, and in the codes of the letters of the word time, it's like that, the T and the M, which is like mom, like mine, like me. And that is super impressive, because the only time that actually exists is now, where we can heal everything. And that you talked about like money and wealth, and I feel the moment we're in the actual time, meaning actual, like the real time, like the God essence and that consciousness, that awareness, that's where everything like actually supplies itself, as life does, right? Like it self-sustains itself.
Yeah, definitely.
Beautiful
Wow.
explanation, Diana. And I just feel like time is a man-made construct. It's kind of an illusion, but it's also the most valuable thing that we have, more than money, because it's the thing that's finite, right? At least in this lifetime. So then we have to maximize every moment and be present in every present moment, every now. So when you said time is now, Diana, I really vibe with that, because I'm like, it's now, it's now, it's now. You just have to be present and live in these moments and really experience them with the most love and the most just energy and magic that you can infuse every present moment with. And that's one of the ways that you free your mind from this thought of hell, right? And make each moment that you're experiencing as beautiful as possible. And therefore you create sort of a heaven on earth for yourself. And what is hell then, right? Even if you can be in the worst circumstances, right? My family started in the projects and the public housing in Philadelphia. That is not an easy way to begin, right? But you can rise up out of the conditions of your surroundings if you have that mindset to make each present moment, each now, beautiful and amazing. So I think time is such an important topic, and I'm really glad that you guys brought it up.
I don't know. what you think, Jeff, but there's something important there, that I see, that the now is actually eternal. So it wouldn't be exactly